Dear students, there is a very short answer question. Why a heat engine with 100% efficiency can never be realized in practice? The reason is there is second law of thermodynamics. Second law of thermodynamics given by Kelvin and Planck. The statement given by Kelvin and Planck says that heat energy absorbed cannot be converted totally into work. Suppose our engine has absorbed some 10 joules of heat energy. So this 10 joules of heat energy cannot be converted into 10 joules of work. The heat energy totally cannot be converted into heat. That is what Q1 cannot be equal to W, or W cannot be equal to Q1. Sum of the absorbed energy will be wasted to the surroundings. It can be some 2 joules suppose. Then only 8 joules of work is done. You cannot convert the total heat into work. That is second law of thermodynamics. So the efficiency of heat engine is defined as work done by heat extracted. So here, if work done and heat extracted both are same, if total heat is converted, suppose 10 joules heat extracted and 10 joules of work done, then work done 10 joules, heat extracted absorbed 10 joules, then you have 1 or 100%. But work done is always less than heat absorbed. Therefore, efficiency will be always less than 1. In summer, when the valve of a bicycle tube is opened, the escaping air appears cold. Why? This is adiabatic expansion. This is an example for adiabatic expansion. How adiabatic? Because the tube is made of rubber and it is a bad conductor of heat. So the air is inside the tube, so it is insulated. Its walls are made of insulator, so that there can be no exchange of heat energy between air inside the tube and surroundings. Now you opened slightly the valve. Now the air is coming out. So what is happening? Its volume is increasing. So therefore it can be called as adiabatic expansion. And in adiabatic expansion, since there is no exchange of heat energy, first let us write first law of thermodynamics. What is first law of thermodynamics? This is first law of thermodynamics. And in adiabatic expansion, there is no exchange of heat energy. So now you can write delta U is equal to minus delta W. Now the gas itself coming out, the gas itself expanding. So the gas itself doing work. Work is done by the gas. Work is done by the gas. Work is done by the gas. So when work is done by the gas, according to sign convention, work done is positive. Work done is positive. If work done is positive, minus into plus, minus, that is delta U is negative. Delta U is negative. Delta U negative means what? Internal energy is decreasing. Internal energy decreasing. If internal energy decreases, temperature decreases. That's why it appears cold. We feel the coldness when the coming out air touches our hand. It appears cold. The reason is this. Why does the brake drum of an automobile gets heated up while moving down at constant speed? When automobile is moving down, it gets accelerated. There will be increase of speed with time. That's why to control the speed, we apply brakes. The brakes convert the kinetic energy into heat energy by pressing the brake shoe against a rotating drum on which tire is mounted. So when the brake shoe presses the rotating drum, there will be friction between the two, and the work done against friction is converted into heat energy. So that's why the brake drum gets heated. Can a room be cooled by leaving the door of an electric fridge open? We generally think by keeping the fridge door open, a room can be cooled down. But in fact, if you keep the fridge door open, instead of cooling down, our room temperature increases. Why? The reason is, what is the function of a fridge? The function of a fridge is to pump heat from cold reservoir to hot reservoir. It is opposite, its functioning is opposite to the heat engine. In heat engine, it pumps heat from hot reservoir, it does some work, and the remaining is transferred to the surroundings. But here in fridge, what it does, it transfers heat from the freezing chamber, from the inside of the fridge to outside. So when the heat is transferred from freezing chamber to room temperature naturally increases. Which of the two will increase the pressure more, adiabatic or isothermal process, in reducing the volume to 50%? So volume is, see, V1, first V1 is equal to V, V2 is equal to V by 2. Volume is decreased to 50%. So initial volume V, final volume V by 2. Initial pressure P, final pressure how much? So that is asked. First let us consider adiabatic process. Adiabatic process obeys PV power gamma is equal to constant. Therefore we can write P1 V1 power gamma is equal to P2 V2 power gamma. Substitute now R. P2 is equal to P1 into V1 by V2 gamma. V1 is V, V2 is V by 2. So we get 2 into P1, that is 2 into P. And here gamma is there. So 2 power gamma P into P1 value P, so 2 power gamma. Now let us go for isothermal process. Isothermal process obeys Boyle's law, that is PV is equal to constant. Therefore we can write P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2, or P2 is equal to P1 into V1 by V2. V1 is V, V2 is V by 2. 2 into P1 or 2 into P. Now we have to compare the two values. Here P2, here P2. Are they same? No, they are not same. So here 2 power 1. Here 2 power gamma. Gamma means ratio of Cp and Cv. And this is always greater than, you know very well, Cp value is more than Cv. Cp value more than Cv. Therefore, this is greater than 1. So, since gamma is greater than 1, this value will be more. Therefore, P2 is equal to P into 2 power gamma is more. That is P2 is more in adiabatic process. A thermos flask containing a liquid is shaken vigorously. What happens to its temperature? So when you move the flask containing liquid vigorously, there will be friction between liquid and walls of the flask, and there will be viscous force. There will be viscous force. See, friction and viscous force, both are one and the same. They oppose the movement. See, in case of solids, we say friction. Friction opposes the relative motion. Similarly, viscous force also opposes the relative motion. Friction opposes the relative motion between two solids, and viscous force opposes the relative motion between two layers of a liquid. When there is a relative motion between two layers of a liquid, so here between liquid and walls of flask there will be friction, and between different layers of liquid there will be viscous force. So both are dissipating forces, and therefore the temperature of the liquid increases. Work done against the friction force and viscous force is dissipated in the form of heat energy. A sound wave is sent into a gas pipe. Does its internal energy change? When sound wave propagates through a gas, the gas undergoes adiabatic compressions and rarefactions. Where it undergoes compression, adiabatic compression, work is done on the gas. Therefore, its temperature increases, internal energy increases. And where it undergoes rarefaction, there work is done by the gas in spreading of the layers of the gas. So here this is adiabatic expansion, therefore the internal work is done by the gas, therefore its temperature decreases. So in this way, in place of compressions there is increase in temperature, and in place of rarefactions there is decrease of temperature. So anyhow, the compressed regions and rarefaction regions have their internal energy changed. How much will be the internal energy change in isothermal process or adiabatic process? In isothermal process, temperature is constant. Temperature constant means internal energy also constant. That means what? Delta U is equal to 0. So there is no change in internal energy. Next, adiabatic process. In adiabatic, let me write first law of thermodynamics. Delta Q is equal to delta U plus delta W. In adiabatic process, there is no exchange of heat energy. So delta U is equal to minus delta W. Now in adiabatic expansion. Suppose there is adiabatic expansion. In adiabatic expansion, work is done by the gas because the gas is expanding. Work is done by the gas. Therefore, delta W is positive. Work is done by the gas. If this is positive, minus into plus minus, then delta U is negative. That means what? Its internal energy decreases. Its internal energy decreases. Now let us consider adiabatic compression. In adiabatic compression, work is done on the gas. Therefore, delta W is negative. If this is negative, delta U is equal to minus of delta W. If work done is negative, minus into minus plus. It means what? Internal energy increases. Its internal energy increases. The coolant in a chemical or a nuclear plant should have high specific heat. Why? In a nuclear reactor, water is used as coolant. You know, water has large value of specific heat capacity. And why? We can understand from the equation of a specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity is defined as its equation is 1 by m delta Q by delta T. If m is equal to 1 kg, delta T is equal to 1 degree centigrade or 1 Kelvin, then delta Q becomes equal to S. So it means what? How specific heat capacity is defined? It is the amount of heat it absorbs to cause 1 degree centigrade rise. That is known as specific heat. So here as a coolant, which type of substance we need? That substance must absorb large amount of heat energy for the same temperature change, which for the same mass, for the same temperature change, whichever absorbs large amount of heat energy, that will be preferred as a coolant. Now let us look in a table. See here, let us compare the values of liquids only. Now here we can see kerosene, a liquid, 2118 joules per kg per Kelvin. It means what? 1 kg kerosene absorbs this much heat energy. By absorbing this much heat energy, its temperature increases by 1 Kelvin or 1 degree centigrade. So it absorbs this much heat energy. Now let us go for edible oil. To cause a temperature change of 1 degree centigrade, it absorbs only 1965 joules. Now let us go for another liquid, water. See, 1 kg water So all are 1 kg substances only. To produce the same temperature change, 1 degree centigrade, to produce the same temperature change, it is absorbing 4186 joules of heat energy. So when you compare kerosene, edible oil and water, out of the three substances, water is absorbing a large amount of heat energy. Therefore, this will be preferred as a coolant. Now let us look at 13.3. Explain why two bodies at different temperatures T1 and T2, if brought in thermal contact, do not necessarily settle to the mean temperature T1 plus T2 by 2. So actually what is its meaning? Suppose this is a hot body. Suppose this is hot body. This is cold body. Suppose this is at a temperature some 80 degrees centigrade and this is at a temperature 40 degrees centigrade. So then what happens? Heat flows from higher temperature region to lower temperature region until both temperatures become equal. So what is the final temperature? So this is T1 is 80 degrees centigrade, T2 is 40 degrees centigrade. So what is the final temperature? The final temperature need not be the average of the two. Why? That is the question. So actually the formula for final temperature is M1 T1 plus M2 T2 by M1 plus M2, where M1 is mass of the hot body and M2 is mass of the cold body. See, this is M1, this is M2. Only when both have same masses, suppose if M1 is equal to M2 is equal to M, then TF is equal to MT1 MT2 by M plus M. So only when both bodies have same mass, then only the final temperature will be the average of the two. Otherwise, this is the formula. Here there is another question. Air pressure in a car tire increases during driving. Why? See, when the vehicle is driven, because of friction between tire and road, because of friction between tire and road, temperature of air inside tire increases. Now PV is equal to mu or T, ideal gas equation. Mu is a constant, R is a constant. These are constants. Volume is also constant. So since due to friction, since temperature is increasing, if temperature increases, pressure also increases. As temperature increasing, its pressure increases. The climate of a harbor town is more temperate than that of a town in a desert at the same latitude. So here, harbor town, desert town, two places are compared with respect to temperature or climate, with respect to climate. Harbor town means a town beside a sea or ocean. So beside the town, what is there? Water is there. Water is there. And a desert town means here sand is there. Sand is there. Specific heat capacity of water is specific heat capacity values you compare. For water it is 4186 and for sand now you see compare the water and sand. Specific heat capacity values are for water it is 4186 joule per kg Kelvin or kg degree centigrade, and for sand the value is just 830 joule per kg Kelvin. It means what? For for 1 degree centigrade rise in temperature, just 830 joules of heat is enough. But for the same 1 degree centigrade rise, 4186 joules of heat energy is required. That's why in daytime sand gets heated very quickly, whereas the seawater takes more time to get heated by the same amount. It requires, it takes more time because it needs a large amount of heat energy. So sand gets heated quickly, whereas water gets heated very slowly. That's why people living in the harbor town, see, if they feel the climate is more temperate for them, but here it is very extreme. See, in the daytime they cannot tolerate the high temperature, and when it comes night time, the sand becomes it loses heat very quickly, and water loses heat very slowly. And that's why even though it is night time, these people have warmth, but these people it is very cold because the sand cools down very quickly, very rapidly, because for 1 degree centigrade decrease just 830 joules is enough. So losing heat energy, its temperature decreases and decreases very quickly.